What's up guys, this is Chris from VFXON, and in this tutorial we're going to be creating After Effects double exposure, and this is how it looks like. So you get the idea, it's inspired by True Detectives, and yeah, let's just get into it. Okay, so what we need first is we need a picture of a person or whatever you want to apply this effect to. So a good website is called pexels.com or unsplash.com. I will leave links in description for both of these websites, and they're really great websites. So for example, I'm going to search person, and as you can see, I use this picture for this effect. I use this. So let's just open up this one. And the good thing about both of these websites is that they provide CC0 license, free for personal and commercial use, no attribution required. So it's perfect for this type of projects, and they have a huge amount of pictures. So yeah, just when you find the pictures you like, just download them, or if you already have your own pictures, use them. And let's move on to the next step. So what I did, I opened up Photoshop with the picture inside there because I need to get rid of the background here. And one way of doing it is by using Magic Wand tool. I'm going to quickly duplicate this layer here. You can do that by Ctrl Y. And let's see, how good of a job does Magic Wand do? I mean, it does okay, I would say. It's not that bad. Yeah, this time it did a very good job, except here, but that's okay. You can easily fix that, so just delete the background. Yeah, for this one, works great. I would say it's all right. We can easily fix that. But for this image, I don't think so that, let me quickly duplicate it. I don't think so that the Magic Wand tool will do a very good job. So let's delete that. And as you can see, it didn't really do a very good job. Around here, I would say it did pretty good because there was a pretty big contrast between the hair, black hair, and the background. But on the face and the rest, it didn't do very good. A tool you can use is background eraser tool, and if you need to get rid of the background and the person has a lot of hair, that can be a very messy operation, but background eraser tool does a very nice job. For example, just check this out. It's amazing. Look how good it works with the hair here. It just simply leaves the hair in and removes the background. It's amazing, and this is mostly what I used for this preview video when I was cutting backgrounds out, and it did a very good job. And well, here, as you can see, it just doesn't do it pretty much is useless because there is no contrast. You don't really see where the jacket starts and where the background ends or background starts. So for this, I use simply selection, and I just selected around where I thought the jacket could be. So yeah, get the idea. If the contrast is just, if the object's color and the background is the same, use some lasso tool or something like that, simple selection. But if you have any other tips on how to get rid of the background, let me know down below in comments, because that might help other people also. So when you've finished getting rid of the background, you simply save it as a PNG file. And then let's move to After Effects. Okay, so here I have opened up After Effects. I'm going to quickly make a new comp. Let's just go 20 seconds long. Let's name this main. Okay, so now I'm going to simply drag this picture inside here, press S for scale. I'm going to scale him down. And to get rid of the background in After Effects, you simply press G or use pen tool and just drag around the edges, and that's really all there is. But Let me quickly put this picture inside here. But if, for example, as you can see, this guy, he has hair that you should see background through. And I suggest if you're working with a picture where there are hair and you need to get rid of the background inside them, then please use Photoshop, because that will give you a lot better result. And I imported here a stock footage of a woman, and I want to get rid of the background in this video. So I'm going to put it inside a new composition, and as you can see, it's not a good footage for this project. The reason why is because, first of all, it's not shot on a green screen, and there's a lot of things going on in the back. And also, for example, her hat and the sky matches almost in color, and it's going to be tough. And the quality of the video doesn't really help much. But since the footage was free, I can't really complain. So let's open that up, double click, open it in a new window, and we're going to use a tool called roto brush. So I'm going to quickly, let's say I want to work from this point. I'm going to set an in point and go to, like, I don't know, let's go to here so we don't have to work with much footage, and set an out point. Then I'm going to go to here, and I'm simply going to roughly draw around the object I want to keep. Okay, like that. And as you can see, it did okay-ish job. Maybe a bit more hat needed. Here it didn't really pick up the sleeve, but we can fix that. And here you're going to press Alt on our keyboard, and we're just going to simply draw here. And same thing here. The issue fixed. Let's see, we need a bit more hat, so we just simply draw in the hat, and it picks up the edges, a bit more hair, and that's good, I think. And then what we do is simply go frame by frame, and we see how it goes. Because sometimes, as you can see, let's go back to around like here, it starts to pick up this object, whatever that is, and we need to get rid of it. So it's a lot of adjustment as you go, so you have to keep an eye on the footage. Overall, I think the tool, as you can see, now we can see a bit of the hand. Overall, the tool is doing a pretty decent job, but we just are not very fortunate with the footage we have here. Okay, let's just expand it this far. And now I'm gonna use a tool called Refine Edges. I'm just gonna quickly draw around the edges like that. And you can also increase and decrease the size of the brush. And I'm gonna quickly show you how to. You go to Window and you select Brushes if it's not already open, and here you can just adjust it. So I'm gonna make it a bit bigger and just simply draw around, and that's all. And now if we go back to composition, you can see we don't see the background anymore. It's great. Yeah, well, here are some mistakes and errors, but it was a very rough and very quick job. But I think the roto brush did a pretty decent job considering how bad the footage was. So that's how you get rid of the background in a video. But for this project, I do prefer if you have a footage that is shot on a green screen. Okay, so anyways, back to our main. I'm not gonna use this composition. Back to our main. I'm gonna take this PNG file and just drop it in here, and I'm gonna scale it down, something like that. And now I'm gonna make a new composition, same length, same settings, but I'm gonna name it person 1. And I'm gonna take that, cut it, paste it in, and let's set scale to 59, something like that. And I want to get rid of a bit of this white that we have, so I'm gonna take a mask. Just gonna get rid of these spikes. That's now good. Press M for mask, set it as inverted, and that's good. Okay, and next what we do, we go back to main, and we're gonna put this inside here. And next we need to import our footage that will go inside the person. So here I have mine. I'm just gonna put it right here. And again, new composition, same settings, except name this back. Actually, I'm gonna name this BG1. And we're gonna take this footage, put it inside, and scale it to, let's see, no, that's too much. Let's scale it to something like this. And I'm gonna duplicate this and turn the bottom one off. And I'm also gonna close the brush panel, and we will need an effect called Luma key. And also levels. Okay, and now what we want to do is we want to get rid of the background. We could have done that in Photoshop, but I'm gonna do it in After Effects. So what we do is we select Luma key and we set key out brighter because the background in our picture is brighter. So I'm just gonna increase the threshold until we can only see the object we want to keep. So I would say something like that. And don't worry, at least in my case, don't worry about the top because I'm going to use a mask. Or you can also adjust levels, as you can see here, like that, but don't adjust it too much. So something like that. And I'm going to get rid of the top by simply using a mask like that. And now what I do is I turn the bottom one on and I set it to alpha matte like that, because what it does, it gives a bit more detail, a bit more depth in my opinion, and that looks better. But you can keep as it is like this, just in my opinion that looks a bit better. Okay, so let's go back to main and let's delete this and let's import the background, turn on the person, move it here. And so now what I want is I want this this background to be on top of his head, and to do that we need an linear wipe effect, and we also want to duplicate the person layer one time. You can do that by Ctrl D. And now what we do is I'm gonna adjust this background to about here, and then what we do is we set it to alpha matte like that, and on the person that's on top, we simply, the layer on top, we simply apply linear wipe. We set a bit of transition and we do it like that. I don't really remember how I set it up in the preview, but I think it was something like this. Not 100% sure. And then I'm gonna move it. Maybe it wasn't like that, I don't really remember. I think it wasn't, I think it was more like this. Something like that. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it as that, and we can increase the feather, which I'm gonna do. and it looks something like this. And this technique is actually the main core of everything. So we can also, instead of using linear wipe, we can use a mask. For example, I just want to take this part, invert like that. You see, just the bottom part, and you can, that's all there is to this, really. So the technique and everything for each scene is pretty much the same, except for some I used mask, for some I used linear wipe, but the idea in general is the same. Next, I'm gonna add a new adjustment layer, name it CC for color correction, and I'm gonna use curves and levels and shadows and highlights. I'm gonna quickly adjust the linear wipe a bit. Just like that, and move this somewhere like this. Okay, I think that looks more like in the actual preview video. All right, let me quickly adjust these settings. Let me see, something like that. And these settings, just pretty much you can just keep them, which I'm gonna actually do. I'm just gonna skip these color correction settings, because for each scene I did different settings, and obviously for your video it's gonna be different, because it really depends on your taste and how you want your video to come out. So I'll be back when I'm done with this. Okay, let me turn on transparent background. This looks nice. And next we need a new camera. And for now, I'm just gonna leave it as it is. Okay, so I want to type some text. I'm gonna type created by, and the font is Baskerville Old Face. And I'm gonna duplicate that. Actually, this font has to be, this has to be at 35. So duplicate that. Move it to about here. And this one is Liberation Sons. So created by VFXON. Just move it so it's aligned kind of like that. And VFXON, duplicate that. Move it here. And let's see, what can we type? Let's type, I don't know. Okay, actually no, I'm just gonna not type anything there. I'm just gonna delete and leave it like this. And I'm gonna take both of them and pre-compose. Composition settings, text 01. Okay, let's open that up, and we also want a new camera that we'll use later. Let's go back to our main. Let's start working with our camera. Now let's toggle switch modes, and let's set person, and yeah, person set to 3D layers. And we also want to add motion blur to all of these layers. Okay, now let's press P for position on the camera. Actually, let's drop this down, and we will use a track X and Y camera. Let's see. I want to go from somewhere here. So I'm gonna set a keyframe for both of these, and I don't know, I'm gonna go for like 4 seconds, something like that, and I'm gonna set the position back to where it was, 960 and 960, like that. Let's see how it looks. I think it looks okay. Let's set them to easy ease, like that. And you know what? I'm gonna take this camera and I'm gonna copy that and put it inside here. So I'm gonna delete this, paste it inside here, set these both text layers to 3D. And let's adjust this position to not that far, maybe this. And let's go something like this. And then at the end, let's see, I think it looks okay. And then for the text animations, we're gonna add blur to both and set a keyframe at the start and set it to 12. Okay, and then press T for opacity and set 0. Now press U on our keyboard to see the keyframes, and I want the text to be somewhere here to start to fade in. So I'm gonna set the opacity to 100 and blur to 0. Let's set them both to easy ease. And let's see how it looks. I think that looks okay. We just need to see how it looks all together right now. I think that the text animation is a bit too fast. But in general, it's alright. At least the movement of the person, that movement's good. But the text movement is a bit too fast, so maybe I'm gonna put it like this. And instead of I'm gonna set the opacity back a bit so I can see the text position, and instead of, I want this to zoom from the back like that, but from the side. So I need to, need to move it to here and maybe a bit up like that. Okay, let's see, is it too fast? Okay, I'm gonna get rid of easy ease. Let's see how that looks. I think that looks much better in my opinion. So to get rid of easy ease, you simply control click the keyframe. Okay, and to be honest, that's about it. There isn't really much. So I'm gonna pre-compose and set it to scene 01. And that's all. I mean, you could also, what you could do is you could BG add some movements to this. For example, like set a keyframes and move the background the opposite direction. Let's try that. Position. Oh, I forgot the camera. Okay. So as that is moving, I'm gonna move this the opposite direction. Uh-oh. The opposite direction. Like that, and maybe scale it down. No, actually scale it up a bit. Just a very small amount. Let's see how that looks. So as you can see, I think it's a very good look. Maybe a bit too fast, but in general it looks very good. Okay, now we only need the background. And so for the background, I'm gonna use a new solid, something. Actually, color doesn't really matter, but okay. Just gonna name it BG. Recompose main BG. Open that up. and I'm gonna use a gradient. I think it was gradient ramp. Yeah, and start ramp to 960 and ramp to 960 and to 1080. And for the start color, I'm gonna use this. And for the end color, I'm gonna use this. So we have this nice looking background. And next, now I'm gonna create a new solid, call it clouds. And we will need a turbulent noise. Pattern, oh, not turbulence, but turbulent. Okay, contrast, let's go 99. Brightness, let's go with 44. Let's see, transform, scale, let's scale it up. Let's hold shift and just drag. So let's go something like this. And offset to 960 and to 540. And then we alt click on evolution and type time multiply by 50, so that we have a bit of animation and these clouds are not just simply standing still. And set the mode to multiply, so I have something like this. Maybe we can reduce the opacity. Actually no, opacity like that, something like this. Let's see. That looks okay. Maybe put the opacity back as it was. Let's see how that looks. Looks good, in my opinion. Looks very close to the original one. And simply what you do is you make scenes like that, and then you simply move them further. See, second scene, the first one starts, the first one ends, second one starts, and so on and so on. Because the process of making one scene, it's the same, it doesn't really change. So I'm obviously not gonna show you each scene I did because that would take a lot of time, and it's simply repeating the steps, so I don't really see a point in doing something like that. But yeah, the general idea is here. So yeah guys, that's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure you click that like button because it helps me a lot. And if you want this template, you can contact me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or email me and I will give you the download link. So yeah, that's the main idea. I hope you did learn something, and like I said, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, subscribe, please subscribe and like this video, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.